Welcome to the fertile Red River Valley. For hundreds of years, the Great Red River of the North has flown through this land, maintaining the quality of some of the best soil in the world. Once the hordes of American bison roamed the prairie here, the valley was home to a flourishing environment of diverse native plants and food sources. Nowadays, however, we rely on this for our food. And these. As of now, research suggests that the Fargo-Moorhead area has a fairly sustainable food source. Evidence is suggesting that the Fargo-Moorhead area at this time can provide for many people, including those with disease and infants. But the area seems to be struggling with being able to provide food to the poorer demographic. While fresh fruits and vegetables exist in the Fargo-Moorhead area, they are usually more expensive than other products in the local supermarkets. Clay County currently has 5 organic farms, stretching over 4,598 acres. None of these farms contain organic poultry or livestock, however. The entirety of Minnesota has 718 organic operations, with a total of 96,342 acres. Minnesota as a state is doing fairly well in the realm of organic production. In fact, Minnesota is the 7th highest state in the United States in terms of number of operations. However, the state did not place in the top 10 states when analyzing the number of organic sales. Farms like these could be an effective way to combat against people's poor food security. It is generally understood and recognized by the local food movement that the opportunity exists to address food security of low-income households by improving access to locally produced food through local markets. Further integrating local food choices into neighborhoods improves choice for the whole population, but most specifically for lower-income neighborhoods, where access to fresh food is found to be limited. According to the Metropolitan Food System Plan for Cass and Clay counties that was released in October of 2013, there are a total of 16 food distributors that produce and distribute locally grown foods, and 66 food distributors that provide fresh and processed foods, with a total number of 18 grocery markets in the Fargo-Moorhead area. For every 630 people, there is one restaurant. While there seems to be a plethora of opportunities and outlets for the Fargo-Moorhead area to be very sustainable, there are still many problems that challenge not only our local food system and supply, but there are global problems as well. The Dorothy Day Food Pantry is the only food pantry in the Fargo-Moorhead area that has the Choice Model. The Choice Model provides food recipients a color-coded grocery list based on the family size. They can see the categories of food available at the pantry, as well as how many items they may choose from any one category on that list. Thus, the Choice Model enables healthy eating to be promoted. Food pantries are needed in our communities as they help to decrease hunger, which is a basic necessity of life. Though the number of services to people in need is astounding, there are also people who get turned away every day because of a shortage of food resources. We have examined the Fargo-Moorhead area at a community level with respect to both problems in the current food system and in the main methods the community is undertaking to address these problems. Now let us look at what we are doing as an institution to reduce our impact on the environment.
My name is Maddie Hyde, and I was a garden intern for the organic garden at Concordia. Cornucopia was started in 2010 by 2 students who were co-presidents of Student Environmental Alliance called Nathaniel Cook and Shane Sessions. And they had an idea to create like a community garden at Concordia to educate people about food issues and to learn about organic gardening and just have that experiential learning at Concordia. And so they partnered with the food working group and from the sustainability task force, along with Gretchen Harvey became the faculty advisor.
Well, the main purpose of the garden is educational. A lot of people think it's to produce food, and really the size that it is, it's not a production garden. It's a garden that students can use to learn about food issues.
In the past, they've had classes from Ellen Hopkins Elementary come to the garden, and they teach them about like food issues and where their food comes from, and the kids really like get a dig in the dirt. Also go into even it has a social justice aspect with getting food security for people.
I think the potential of the garden to raise all kinds of food-related issues is great. I would say the two most obvious issues that it raises involve the kind of fossil fuel heavy imprint of industrial agriculture. Well, the other obvious kind of message of a campus garden is health related. We're all dealing with the health related issues of too much fast food, and so just having fresh vegetables grown on campus is a real, signal that eating fresh whole foods is just much healthier.
The vision that we hoped to connect with people is that even if you have never grown up on a farm, you've never seen where your food comes from, you can do that in a simple way by just growing your own food.
The Fargo-Moorhead area has a lot of potential due to favorable agricultural conditions. However, the food system that exists today is far from perfect. Facing us are three main problems: food insecurity, foodborne illness, and industrial toxins. Food insecurity is the issue of not knowing where your next meal is coming from, and it is more common than you might think. This issue is closely related to that of poverty, which is in fact one of the main causes of food insecurity. And in the Fargo-Moorhead area, poverty is a problem. In our city of Fargo, about 2 in 10 children live below or close to the poverty line, and the average rate of poverty in the Fargo-Moorhead area is 11.2%. In these numerous households, getting enough nutritious food to eat is a challenge, and as a result, people that are food insecure are significantly more likely to be obese as well. This is because the price of fresh, nutritious, unprocessed food like produce has climbed 40% during the same time that the price of high-calorie, highly processed food has dropped by 40%. With this shift in pricing, it is not surprising that people that struggle to pay for their food are drawn more towards significantly cheaper foods that give them more calories for their dollar. Foodborne illnesses occur when people consume food that have been contaminated. Most often, contamination is caused by bacteria or a virus that got into the food. There are many possible causes, but usually the result is nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Most of the time, these symptoms are relatively mild and only last for a few days. But in some cases, these symptoms can be incredibly severe or even lead to death. Foodborne illnesses are a concern because the number of outbreaks is on the rise. This number has been increasing in the United States since at least 1939, and the trend shows no sign of changing. Also of increasing concern related to this problem is the rising number of multi-state foodborne outbreaks. These occur when the food is contaminated at a centralized processing center, such as the slaughterhouse or a plant where food is repackaged. This contaminated food is then shipped to multiple locations across the country. As a result of our centralized, industrialized food system, there are more opportunities for food going many places to be contaminated, and the widespread use of monocultures, antibiotics, and pesticides provide pressures that favor other microorganisms that may cause foodborne illness. Related to this is the problem of industrial chemicals used in food and in products used with food, like plastic containers. The effect that many of these chemicals have on humans is not widely known, and although governmental regulation helps to prevent the use of some, actions of this kind are usually in reaction to people getting sick, instead of trying to act before that happens. One major example of this is the chemical BPA. This is a chemical used in certain plastics and appears in a large number of food containers. Research has recently shown that this chemical may have harmful effects in people exposed to it, but governmental organizations have been slow to restrict its use. The reality of our situation as a community is not easy to face. We live in a place that Mother Nature has endowed with great agricultural and sustainable potential. Still, we rely on food from hundreds of miles away. How does this make sense? Take a look into the typical Fargo-Moorhead backyard. What you are looking at right now is an opportunity. It is an opportunity for you and the greater Fargo-Moorhead community as a whole to make the place we live healthier and more sustainable, to make the world a better place.